Hi guys, welcome back. Today I just wanted to do a quick video about how to solve equations with the distributive property for you to reference if you get stuck and you just need to come back and see what was going on. Today's presentation is brought to you by Sonic the Hedgehog, which is one of my favorite video games. It's a classic. So today's objective, students will be able to use the distributive property of multiplication over addition. We'll see what that looks like in just a second. And students will be able to apply the distributive property to solving multi-step equations. So we're kind of adding a step. We had combining like terms, 2-step, 1-step. Now it could be, any number of steps. But we're going to have all the tools that we need in order to solve. So the distributive property allows us to multiply each term inside the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. So what does this look like? Let's say we have any number A, any number B, and any number C. We can multiply A times B plus A times C. So we have multiplication over addition. So A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. So anytime you have something that looks like this, it'll have this form. Let's look at this example with some numbers. So 2 times 3 plus 2 equals 2 times 3. So I distributed this here. Plus, I have a plus sign, 2 times 2. Let's see what this looks like with variables. So we threw a variable in here, but it's still the same form. So 2 times, so parentheses, times x plus 2 equals 2 times x plus 2 times 2. 2 times x plus 2 times 2. We just simplify this. 2 times x can be rewritten as 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4, so plus 4. So 2 times x plus 2 equals 2x plus 4. Let's look at some examples of the distributive property. And I have a note here that says, be careful with your signs, as always, when you multiply negatives and positives. A positive times a positive is positive. A positive times a negative is negative. And a negative times a negative is positive. So keep those in mind. Let's do this one. So same thing. We just have some variables and some different numbers, but the form is the same. So 3 times 4x, so 3 times 4x plus 3 times 5 equals 12x. 3 times 4 is 12, and then we have an x too, plus 3 times 5 is 15. Some people might be able to just do this in their head and say, oh, 3 times 4x is 12x, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now, we have a negative in the second one. So negative 3 times 4x, negative 3 times 4x, and then we have negative 3 times positive 5. So plus negative 3 times positive 5. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. And then negative 3 times 5 is negative 15, or plus negative 15. This is the hard part with the negatives. Just keep these rules in mind at the top. All right, now let's do this one. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. Negative 3 times negative 5, negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. So it looks a little bit different when you have negatives, but the idea is the same. You have whatever is out here, you multiply it by this, and then add this. Just watch out for these negative signs. Now, if we want to solve equations, just like we've been doing, we have combining like terms, inverse operations. Now we're just going to add another step, which we may need to distribute. So if you come across a problem that has parentheses and you're like, oh, this looks like a distributive property problem, the first thing you're going to do is distribute. So let's first distribute the 3 over these parentheses. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -2 is -6 minus 6. And then equals 18 stays the same. Great. Step 2 says to combine like terms. I don't really have any like terms to combine. Step 3 says to solve for the variable using inverse operations. We should feel pretty comfortable with this by now. So let's add 6 to both sides. Oops. Add 6 to both sides. And my 6's cancel, and I'm left with 3x equals 24. 18 plus 6 is 24. Now I just have 3 times x equals 24. You can either say in your head 3 times what equals 24, or just divide both sides by 3. And then x equals 6. No, x equals 8. Sorry. X equals 8. Miss Yule makes mistakes too. So x equals 8. We can plug our answer back in and do 3 times 8 minus 2 equals 18. 8 minus 2 is 6, so 3 times 6 equals 18. And 3 times 6 does equal 18, so we are good. All right, keep these steps in mind. It's the same steps. The problems just might get more complicated. So here's an example that looks more complicated, but just keep your steps in mind, one step at a time. You don't need to look at all of it at once and say, just one step at a time. So step 1 says to distribute. So I can already see here that I have a 3 I can distribute, or a -3. So my 3c, there's nothing going on over here, so that can just stay. Now I have a -3 that I can distribute over this. So -3 times 6 is -18. -3 times -2c is positive 6c. -3 times -2 is positive 6. Equals, equals 27. Now, so we distributed, we're good. Now let's combine like terms. My like terms are 3c and 6c. I'm going to just move them so that they're next to each other. So 3c plus 6c minus 18 equals 27. Now let's combine. 3c plus 6c is 9c minus 18 equals 27. Now I have a two-step equation. So I can add 18 to both sides. Draw my line, keep myself organized. And I end up with 9c equals 45. 27 plus 18 is 45. -18 and positive 18 cancel out. Now I did my combine like terms. So next we solve for the variable. 9c equals 45. 9 times what equals 45? Or divide both sides by 9. And c equals 5. Awesome. Okay, let's do one more example. So remember, you see a lot of parentheses here, so you're going to have to distribute. It seems like a lot, but you're following the same steps. So step 1 was to distribute. If you want to write these steps out, maybe if you're about to take a quiz or something and you want to say, okay, first step, distribute, second step, combine like terms, and third step, solve. So let's distribute first. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times -1 is -3. And now let's do this one. +2 times y is plus 2y. +2 times +3 is +6 equals 13. Do a big old line. Okay, distribute, done. Combine like terms. 3y plus 2y is 5y. -3 plus 6 is +3 equals 13. So for some people, you might want to rewrite the equation. For others, maybe get a different color and circle the like terms. So 3y and +2y are like terms, and -3 and +6 are like terms. So find a system that works for you, whether that's circling them in different colors, putting a box, rewriting it, whatever works for you. So now I have 5y plus 3 equals 13. I'm just going to rewrite this so that they're a little bit closer together. So 5y plus 3 equals 13. Subtract 3. Oh, wait, let's check off our list. Combine like terms, done. 5y plus 3 equals 13. Subtract 3 from both sides. And then 5y equals 10. 5 times what equals 10? Or divide both sides by 5. Or I'm going to write the answer over here if that's okay. Y equals 2. 5 times 2 equals 10. Yay! And then I can check it off my list. We solved. Go back and check your answer if you're unsure. I kind of ran out of room here, but go back and check your answer. Okay. Bye, guys.